Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about the Motion Picture Association of America. Founded in 1922 by presidents of major motion picture companies, it has evolved since then to comprise of a board of parents who rate films with the sole intention of advising other parents on what content is appropriate for their children to see. Fuck. Bugger, shit, bloody, fuck. That is so much better. Where was I? Right, okay. This speech has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America. And there's one very specific reason for this rating. An explicit rule that states that more than one use of a harsh or sexually derived word requires an R rating, as must even one of those words if used in a sexual context. So obviously my little rant applies. But it wasn't a rant, or a sudden onset of Tourette's, or a nervous breakdown, but rather the exact speech given by Colin Firth in The King's Speech that gave the film its R rating. The movie is about English King George VI, who attempts to overcome his debilitating stammer in order to lead and inspire the British people during World War II. And per the suggestion of his speech therapist, Geoffrey Rush, he utters this volley of swear words to try to get rid of his stammer. And it's the sole reason why the film got its R rating. And so you might be thinking, okay, Emma, that's fantastic, but why is it important? It's important because it showcases what's wrong with the Motion Picture Association of America and how its rating system is becoming irrelevant. This irrelevancy is due to two things. The first is our culture's changing relationship to profanity. It's becoming much more commonplace. A study in 2009 states that the average teenager swears 90 times a day. That's a lot. And the reason why it's becoming so commonplace is our relationship to these words. We don't think of their literal meanings, but rather we think of their emotions. When you're on your way to class and you completely forgot about an assignment and just say shit, you're not literally picturing human feces. But instead, you're focused on the emotion behind the word. You're focused on the anger that you feel. And that's why these words are becoming much less offensive and much more common. The second reason is when you compare the MPAA standard regarding language to their standard regarding violence. When two films get the same rating, you automatically assume that one is just as offensive as the other, because the same restrictions are placed on both films. But since the MPAA holds language to a very high standard, and doesn't do the same for violence, you get really weird juxtapositions. Because you're told things like The King's Speech, which we already discussed, that's just as offensive as watching Saw 3D, where people get their skin melted into car seats, or limbs sawn off, in jaw-dropping 3D. Or you're told that A Few Good Men, where Tom Cruise goes against Jack Nicholson to fight for the innocence of two Marines, the language in that film is just as traumatizing as watching the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, where bloody bodies litter the beaches of D-Day, and you see guts everywhere. Or Jerry Maguire, where Tom Cruise is the sports agent trying to get back on top. The language in that film is just as bad as watching Taken, where Liam Neeson electrocutes a man to death and tortures him. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry, that's PG-13. We'll just start over. Okay. The King's Speech, right? Just as bad as watching Quantum of Solace, where Daniel Craig's balls get shoved through an open chair. No, I'm sorry, that's still PG-13. Okay, Salt. Angelina Jolie gets a tube shoved down her throat to simulate drowning. No, that's still PG-13. Okay, well, the point is, as Tom Hooper, director of The King's Speech, very eloquently stated, I can't think of a single film I've ever seen where the swear words have haunted me forever. The way a scene of violence or torture has, if the ratings board only worries about the bad language. So, to sum it all up, when you look at our culture's changing relationship to these words and how they've become much more commonplace, and then you look at how the MPAA treats violence relative to how it treats language, rating a film R for saying fuck twice just doesn't really make that much sense. And therefore the rating system is becoming irrelevant. Thank you.